Look at me. Do I look unwell? Because I certainly feel it. I feel terrible. This is going to actually a struggle to record this because my voice keeps breaking, but we're going to go at it anyway. We're going to be talking about the 2K. I should have done this video earlier in the week, but of course we've been dying in bed, so it's been a bit of an issue to try and record videos in that sense. But we're going to get into it. We're going to be talking about the 2K from Europe, talking about in America. I'm not going to delve too much into Scump's stream because I want to do a separate video on that and what it means in the long run and what it means for this year. It's a good indication to how this year is going to go. First and foremost, let's run through the European 2K. Quickly, let's just run through who placed where. So first place we had Nevo, Weeman, Quicker, Dylan, and Nolson. So it's an accumulation of Team Sween and a few other good players within Europe who've always been on the cusp of doing all right. Second place we had Pickups Please, which was Niall, Zerg, Keza, Kreza, and Brain. Again, it's not all those teams of players who are on the cusp, national circuit teams that we've seen from last year. In third, fourth, we had Cuddy Boys and Get Us to Vegas. Cuddy Boys being Denza, Hawkey, Moose, Reedy, and Vortex. Probably where I would have put them, to be honest with you. They'll be relatively happy. Well, I'd say they'll be relatively happy. I think they would have expected to win their game, but a decent performance by them. I'm looking forward to see what they do throughout the season. In fourth place, and third, fourth was Get Us to Vegas, which is Cammy, Defrag, Chain, Maple, and Sunny B. Let's go through the top 8 as well. So 5th to 8th, Red Reserve, Gong Gaming, No Org, and Team Reciprocity. Obviously, you know Red Reserve and Reciprocity will run through Gong Gaming and No Org's rosters. So Gong Gaming is Benji, Dareal, Endura, Malls, and Xerox, a good team there. No Org, of course, is Mad Cat, Dave, Alex, Petey, and Josh. Excuse me. So disappointing results from those for 3 of those 4 teams in particular: Red Reserve, Mad Cat's team, and Team Reciprocity. They're teams you would expect to be in and around the top tier in these 2Ks, expecting them to get good results. I don't think anyone's going to read into it too much about it. It's good practice at 2K. It's just probably a step up from scrims, and because they're not as important this year for these teams, you don't know how much stock's going to be put into it. However, you look at the teams who won it, teams like Sunny's team, you look at teams like Weeman's team and Quicker and those guys, it's a lot more important because these pro points, I don't think these guys are going to be up there trying to get into pools on the Thursday before Vegas. I think they are pretty much going to be open. So these pro points will affect the open bracket as far as I'm aware. So if they do affect that, that's going to start giving them a better seed. It's teams that need these pro points that we see winning the European 2K. I think it's so important that they get these pro points as well, because if it gives them a better seed, you don't have as hard matchups. All you need to do, I think it's top 32 you've got to get. So you basically need to get towards the end of the open bracket, and that's when you're still going to start qualifying for that qualifier for the Pro League, which is ultimately what everyone's goal is at Vegas. Of course, to win the event as well, but the secondary goal is always to finish top 32, so you can get a chance to qualify for a Pro League. This gives them a better chance to do that because they get a better seed going at open bracket, I think. So positive for them on that side. As said, from the other side though, where Red Reserve, Reciprocity, they'd be a little bit disappointed, of course. I don't think it will concern them too much. There'll be a couple of things they look at, but typically when you look at these sort of teams who win these tournaments and who are at the top, these are guys who grind out the game at the beginning of the game. They learn the game fast. They play it a lot. They play it loads. So they make sure that they know the game as well as they can. Red Reserve and Reciprocity, yes, okay, they've been scrimming really hard as well, but they might not know a few things that these other teams know. And this is another good reason for teams like Reciprocity and Red Reserve. They'll start learning a little bit more about what they need to do. Yes, okay, you cannot take anything away from these teams that did win the 2K and finish like top 3, top 4. But at the same time, Red Reserve and Reciprocity and Mad Cat's team, they have more tools to use going forward when they start to sort of get into competition and they start to learn things a little bit better. I'm not worried about any of these teams based off the 2K results. God, I'm so unwell. Right, let's move over to NA. Why am I even trying to record a video? I'm in a world of shit right now. Anyway, okay, so quickly let's go through the surprises. Now, there's going to be, like, as I said, I talked about Red Reserve and Reciprocity, and they won't be too concerned about their results. It was top 8. There's something to be maybe concerned about is a couple of these guys in here. Envy finishing 7 to 32. So obviously that's Assault, Apathy, Hooks, X, and Silly. Hook, X, and Silly. Evil Genius is also following in this bracket as well, which is Lacefield, Gunja, Royalty, Saints, and Fellow. I'm just trying to see if there's anybody we're talking about in there. I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, teams like that finish in that sort of bracket isn't the best. And then in 9th to 16th, we've got FaZe, we've got Luminosity, E6, teams that you expect to be a little bit further up. Although they obviously have struggled online. But realistically, as said, you don't want to read too much into it, but maybe just a slight cause for concern from those two teams. We'll run through the top 8. So Splice, Sweet Chicken, Big Busy, G2 Esports, and Make Me Want McDonald's all finished in the 5th to 8th bracket. 3rd to 4th was 100 Thieves and E United, and teams basically second, and of course OpTic Gaming winning the first NA 2K. Let's break it down how these quarterfinals, semis, and finals went. 100 Thieves beat G2 in the quarterfinals. Team Spacely beating Splice in the quarterfinals. So that's another impressive result from them. Quarterfinal 3, E United beat Team Fastballer. Quarterfinal 4, OpTic beat Phantoms. Semi-final 100 Thieves losing to Spacely. So Team Spacely have managed to beat Splice, and they've managed to beat 100 Thieves before facing OpTic in the grand final. So a good run from them. What I want to talk about here is mostly sort of Team Spacely. OpTic, I do actually want to touch on, because not only did they win it, they didn't drop a map. So that for me is a huge statement. They've always typically been a pretty good online team, and I know a lot of the OpTic fans will be reading into this and, oh, the boys are back. Don't get me wrong, I think they're definitely going to have a better year than they did last year. But they did win the first 2Ks in World War II. And we've seen how their year went there. So I think it's sort of one of those things is you sort of hold your breath with OpTic, don't you? You sort of say, right, okay, we've seen this before. We've been good online. Do they translate that to a LAN event? We'll find out in Vegas, of course. I think they will. I don't think there's any problems there. But I want to talk about Team Spacely. This is a team who did pretty well at Champs, who have the potential to qualify for that Pro League. That's what they're going to be aiming for, and they're definitely a team that could cause a threat. They're, again, that team of grinders, that team that will pull out things that you won't expect or do things you won't expect, because they're learning the game first. They're learning what things to abuse better, that sort of thing. And they found themselves in a final, and they're not a team you would expect to be in a final when you have the likes of 100 Thieves, United, Splice, all in there. So realistically, good job to them. They're going to be a team to watch out for. As said, I'm really not going to talk too much on Scum Streams. We're going to discuss that in another video. But that's the 2K wrap-up. As said, 2Ks, you can only take so much from them. But OpTic Gaming's dominance is definitely a statement. If you look at Europe, we've got teams who desperately need those pro points, trumping some of the better teams in Europe that you wouldn't expect them to, but I don't think you're going to read into that too much. If anything, I would read more into OpTic's domination than Red and Reciprocity not finishing within the top 4 in the EU 2K. I'm going to try and cast this week's 2K, actually, guys, so keep an eye out on my Twitter, which I'll link below. I'll be on the EGL Twitter because it'll be streamed on the EGL website, hopefully. And yeah, I'll let you guys know if I can. I'm just making sure it's all right with the CWL, making sure it's all right with the teams. But we're going to try and stream that on Sunday night. We're back with another video tomorrow. I'm going to talk about Scum Stream and how significant those numbers may well be for the rest of the year. Guys, if you did enjoy the video, please leave it a like. A subscription would be great. Plenty more content coming through out the rest of the week and in the lead up to Vegas, guys. We'll see you on the next video.